Hey, welcome to the Snap Fantasy channel on YouTube. Got your boy Mack and Landon here, kicking it off in the middle of August with I guess it's almost the end of August, Landon, but with a mock draft. Now, we've kind of switched up our streaming platform, so this is sort of just a test, but we got the boys with us from the Discord. I got my co-host with me, Landon. What's going on, Landon?
Mac, I'm doing excellent. Can't wait to jump off with this. Starting off the fantasy season with a bang. We have a mock draft today. This is kind of a chance for anyone listening, anyone watching, to ask us anything. We'll be getting into some auction draft strategy today. We have a mock draft going on. If you want invites to our mock drafts, get in our Discord community. We'll send that out first. It's a ton of fun, and we'll be able to really get some real live mock drafts going with as many fantasy football diehards as you can to get the real draft experience as best as you can. You can do a million mock drafts on Sleeper against the computer, but this is the best way to get a real draft to get ready for your real money leagues.
Heck yeah. And I just posted here in the comments about the stream quality, audio, video, how's it looking? Give us some feedback. You know, this is a dry run, getting ready for the season, so we can come live to you every single week with waiver shows, with Sunday lives, and everything. So we're just trying to get this dialed in, and if you could let us know, that would be awesome. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We're going to start here. We have 12-team half PPR on Sleeper. We're going to go ahead and... Oh, you have to start the draft, Landon. You are the host.
I will begin draft right now. Mac, so how many more leagues do you have left to draft? Are you pretty much done? Do you have multiple left to go? What kind of leagues you got?
So far I have the 6 dynasty leagues. We had Scotty Fish, and now I believe I have 5 redrafts left. So
5.
It's good. And I would say 5 of my personal, and then we have the Snap OG League, and we have the Snap Listener League for 2021. So 7, Landon, total left for me to go. It's gonna keep me busy in the beginning of September. How about you?
Yeah, we have our Gridiron League going, and then I've got a big auction league happening in a week's time. So I think really only two leagues left for myself, and that's kind of it. I'm happy with that. I had a big draft that I tilted hard on the weekend. I screwed up the entire draft.
I saw.
But that's all right. This is all for a good time, and we're here to really help out the listeners watching. So this is a lot of fun to get these mock drafts in and get into some news here as well, Mac. Just Travis Etienne. Should we get into that already?
Yeah, I was just going to say before we get things started, if you're new to the channel, if you've never stopped by before, consider liking, subscribing. We have also a YouTube membership set up, basically $5 a month.
We got to get on that.
Gets you in, you can just click on the join button beside the subscribe button, and that'll basically bring up a list of benefits for you over the season. But in becoming a member of our community, you get access to the private Discord community, as well as entered into a chance to win a Dalvin Cook signed jersey from Pristine Auction, generated by the Chelly D. So wanted to bring that to your attention. And lastly, did you want to go 2 minutes per pick? I mean, if you want to pause it now and drop that down, I'm cool with that. 2 minutes per pick might be a little bit heavy.
We're quick so far. The only one slow is you, my dude.
All right. So you guys can see the board here. It has been a heavy run of running back, 1 wide receiver, and then a tight end. I know Chelly was thinking about going Kelsey, so that kind of has hurt him. There comes to me, and I have a decision on the turn here to make. Am I going to continue to take running back, or am I going to pivot and go wide receiver? I wouldn't say heavy, but kind of go to the 0 RB. And I think I'm going to split the... No, I changed my mind. I'm going to go 0 RB here. I'm going to take Tyreek. I'm going to take Stephon Diggs. I'm going to throw it back to you guys.
I expected you to go Tyreek and Eckler there, but you went Tyreek Diggs. I like that play. It's this.
Very
We'll talk about our.
very
Go ahead.
easy for me to go Eckler, Harris there, or Mixon or Antonio Gibson. Like, that's fine. But when there's been a huge run on running back, it's probably advantageous to pivot and get elite talent at other positions. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. And Chelly following suit,
Yeah.
Adams Hopkins.
Cat's Pajamas reminded me we've got the Snap Listener League draft coming up. We have the Snap Listener OG League, which is a slow draft coming up
This will
soon.
be fun.
So, yeah, the 2 leagues I mentioned plus those 2. If you want a chance to join our Snap Listener League, playing against us, Mac and I just formulated the rules that we can't wait to tell everyone about. Make sure to join our Discord. We're only taking people in the Listener League that are in our Discord community. So if you're watching this after the fact, checking out our draft strategy, auction draft strategy, make sure to get in that Discord. The link, I'll make sure it's in the description of our show right now.
It's already there.
To get in. If not, you can always send us a DM on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok.
That's
but
right.
yeah, Mac, I did want to follow up your discussion on the YouTube membership.
Yeah.
So if you are considering becoming a part of the YouTube memberships, it's only $5 a month, like Max said, and really it's just a thank you to the boys for the hard work that we kind of put in through and go through every single week. It's not meant to be a big sum of money, but we are giving away that Dalvin Cook signed jersey. Right now, there's only a handful of people in the YouTube membership, so you have a really good chance of winning that signed jersey. Plus, you get a private link to the Discord that only YouTube members get to. And we will be doing a 1-hour live stream once a month to go over your entire fantasy roster. Look at any trades you might have. It really generate a custom designed
just a plan
program for you. Yeah, plan for the rest of your season, how to go about winning your leagues. And it's only $5 a month, so we're trying to throw out as many perks as possible, not only to help you win, but to grow our community. Right now, we have a ton of really great people in our community right now, and we're just looking to grow that. So that's really the part of the membership. It's not meant to blow the bank on a draft kit or something. It's just really to say thanks to the boys and Mack and myself and producer Scott for putting in the hard work every week. And it's going to be for pretty much for the fantasy season. So it's not a big commitment.
That's right. Yes, but we do appreciate it. And
if you want us to build $100 tier, we can do that.
No, not necessary. I did want to take a quick moment before we pivot off into talking some Travis Etienne. A quick thank you. So we do have 6 members so far that jumped in right on the launch. Taylor Muir, Eric Zubert, Nate Bowers, Griffin Taunton, Devin Begley, and Chris Timmons. I see Chris in the chat here, so he could use some of those custom emojis that we have going on. But a special thanks to you lads for jumping from the Discord right into the memberships. We appreciate your support right off the get-go, and we are happy to have you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I forgot to mention the custom emojis. That's one of our most popular things we do every week is our 1-hour live stream before kickoff on Sunday. So you have custom emojis, you have shoutouts throughout the show. That's kind of the goal there. It's meant to thank the community for joining us, and kind of you're all along the ride with us. You're on the
That's
ride
right.
with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're just here for a good time. So I can't wait to build this community and get to know everyone in the YouTube membership.
So you so far have gone Zeke Elliott, Calvin Ridley, and Joe Mixon. And I'm sitting here with 2 wide receivers in the back. Now I've got the turn. Sometimes the turn is tough to navigate. You got to play the ADP game a little bit, whereas you get to sit in the middle and have a little bit more of a balanced draft. Let it come to you. I wanted to talk about Travis Etienne. You brought him up. Now, it came out earlier this afternoon. He has a Lisfranc injury, and typically with Lisfranc's injuries, they can be long-term it can be long-term pain or discomfort or even lead to immobility if untreated. And typically what you'll see for running backs with Lisfranc injuries, you'll see immediate surgery, which takes about 6 to 12 weeks to recover. And then from there, it's about a year of rehab and physiotherapy until complete recovery. So Travis Etienne looks to be out for the remainder of the 2021-2022 season. I went ahead and bought Travis Etienne today in a Dynasty League for Marlon Mack to the JT owner plus my first, which looks to be a back-end first in 2022. And you already know that I'm a fairly... I'm not a fan of the 2022 class. Let's just say that. So I went and took a gamble on Travis Etienne today, but he will be probably out for the season at this point.
Yeah, if you're watching this and wondering what we would do with Travis Etienne in Dynasty, that's a great example. We're willing to buy a Travis Etienne right now for that 2022 first is a great call. Hype will inevitably skyrocket return on Travis Etienne for next year, especially once we see Trevor Lawrence and James Robinson have a very good fantasy year. So Travis Etienne will be projected to be the lead back next year no matter what. That's going to be a valuable piece. He'll probably be worth at least a first-round pick next year. So I like the move, Mac. I sent a low ball offer to the league member that I traded Travis Etienne to 2 short weeks ago. And he's like, do you really want to rub salt in the wound or kick a guy while he's down?
Yes, you do.
I said,
yes, you do.
I mean, that's you wouldn't be playing football if you didn't at least give some offers
100%.
out. But yeah, it's I'm definitely willing to buy Travis Etienne right now. I think it's a good chance to buy while we know for sure that he's out for the rest of the season. Now the real question is, Mac, is how high do you take Robinson? His ADP has not yet risen to where he probably should be. So
I'm trying to grab him here.
His ADP right now is 71.8. I think one of our league mates here in the mock draft will be savvy enough to grab him before you get a chance to. Because we also have rankings up on our Discord community. We'll be posting that every week and post our top guys on YouTube. Do you think you'll be putting James Robinson in your top 24 running backs this year?
That's really tough. You're gonna have to make an adjustment to your projections to see really where he falls. I think it's going to be close, and I think that the majority of analysts and casual players alike are going to automatically think that James Robinson now is just going to repeat what he did last year. I don't think that is the case. I'm going to be hesitant to say that he will be as impactful as he was last year, just because in the running back room, he really didn't have much help, but he has some of those pieces still behind. Even with Travis Etienne out of the question, you have a difference in coaching philosophy with Urban Meyer. Look for guys like Laviska Shenault to be a little bit more involved. Look for that ball to be delivered through the air a little bit more, not necessarily just dump off plays to James Robinson time and time again. So I think it'll be close. He certainly is more attractive now. I have a little bit more confidence in him, but watching that Jaguars game last night, it was really disappointing to see some of the play calling, to see some of the decisions that were made, and Trevor just didn't look like he had much protection. So I don't know how bullish I am on the Jags.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be tough for Trevor Lawrence. Right now, I prefer taking a late shot on Trey Lance and Justin Fields in drafts instead of having to reach a few rounds for Trevor Lawrence at this point. That Jaguars offense doesn't look great at all. I do think they'll get better, and James Robinson should be considered in the top 24. He had a great season last year. I do like Laviska Shenault. He gets used a lot, and it seems like Trevor Lawrence is looking for him, or there's plays designed for Laviska, and Trevor Lawrence is looking for Marvin Jones Jr. So you'll see in my video coming out tomorrow, one of my players that I'm avoiding is DJ Chark.
Ooh.
I am pretty much hands off on DJ Chark because of the aforementioned difficulties that this Jaguars offense might have, but he's not getting any relationship with Trevor right
Mm-hmm.
now, and or with Trevor, yeah, with Trevor. DJ is not. So it's but I think James Robinson deserves to be in consideration at around running back 20 to 24. I would probably prefer him over Josh Jacobs at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I know you've been sort of
I'm down on
yeah.
Josh Jacobs. I
Yeah.
get that, but close. Like him and Darrell Henderson could be close this year as well.
Yeah, it was nice to see that Darrell Henderson took some reps today in a non-contact jersey, so he is getting contactless reps, let's say, but it's reps nonetheless. And I mean, it's just a thumb injury, so when push comes to shove, that will be a non-issue. Let's talk about our moves so far in this draft. I've gone Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, and Josh Allen. Nice that I could probably get a tier 1 if you're me, or tier 2 quarterback if you're Landon. Or no, did you have Josh Allen in top tier and Kyler in your second tier?
I did. So I had Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in my top tier.
Getting a top tier quarterback in the 4th round, stacking him up with Stephon Diggs, just really doubling down on my wide receiver heavy strategy, as well as getting a positional advantage in Josh Allen. This is totally off-brand for me, but it's something that I'm trying. And, so far, so good. You have gone Zeke, Calvin Ridley, Joe Mixon, Cooper Kupp, and your boy Brandon Ayuk. Looking at some other teams here, we've got a Taylor of Two Worlds, Taylor Muir going Derrick Henry, Pat Mahomes, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, and Jamar Chase. If this was a tight end premium league, you would just be licking your chops, but it's not. So interesting roster construction there. And then you've got Chelly Darton jumping in on the tight ends, going wide receiver, then Chris Carson, Chris Godwin, and TJ Hawkinson. And it's back to me.
Shout out to Snap Army Joker. Griff in the chat, the YouTube member, part of the Snap Army. Shout out to him. He's got some fire, some hot emojis in the chat. Thank you for being a YouTube member, and I appreciate you every single day, my dude. And he's a great member of our community. And I hope if you're willing to join, you'll be greeted promptly by Mr. Joker himself.
You're damn right. Now, it would have been nice for me to have some TJ Hawkinson available, because that would really be a no-brainer for me. I'd have kind of an advantage at quarterback, an advantage at tight end, but that hasn't come my way. I'm kind of thinking of going with a 4th wide receiver, and it's between T. Higgins and Chase Claypool. Others in consideration, Courtland Sutton. I'm going to go with a guy I think potentially has a really good chance to sort of make the next jump this year, and that's going to be Chase Claypool, a.k.a. Maple Tron, the Canadian product himself. When you look at guys who have dominated the league in the last year, like DK Metcalf, for example, you go, he's 6'4". He's a monster. Chase Claypool is exactly DK Metcalf, so I like Chase Claypool. Now it just begs the question.
Me too, big fan.
Now it just begs the question: do I go for a 5th wide receiver, or do I pivot and start filling up? We do have start 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, so I could really just double down on building this big PPR floor or half PPR floor, and T. Higgins is going to be where I go. Really just committing to the strat.
I like that. So I have a question for you, Mac. You've been on record that Kyler Murray is your number 1 quarterback, but you took Josh Allen before him. Is that just because of the Stephon Diggs stack?
Yeah.
And that makes sense. Stacking is such a valuable piece in fantasy football, and Josh Allen still presents that advantage at the quarterback position, like you mentioned. And it's great. It'll be every time they get those touchdowns together, it's double points. Obviously, every time Stephon Diggs catches the passing touchdown, it's going to come from Josh Allen. So I like that strategy, and I loving it. Good choice.
I'm getting some hate here in the sleeper chat, but I do relish it. I do encourage it. Brett Schwartz is now saying he will take every running back before me. He's loathing me. Dynasty Nate is saying, who needs running backs? Not this guy. Not this guy.
Not this guy.
And here's the thing about like this strategy. Again, off-brand, something I typically wouldn't do, but when you're placed in the back of a 12-team draft and there's been, a run of 7 to 8 running backs to start your draft, why continue to take the lesser at the position when you could pivot and take more of another position? And so wide receiver is an easy pivot, especially in a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers and you have 2 flexes. I can start 5 receivers on any given week. I'm just choosing to invest my capital elsewhere. And I think if you do get placed in the back end of a draft, it's something that you should have practiced to put into play eventually, because it can pay off.
Yeah, and I think it's your running back room is going to look okay at the end of the day, and it's not going to be anything sexy, but it's going to be a Damian Harris, Michael Carter. You might have David Johnson, A.J. Dillon in there, like Gus Edwards, Tony Pollard. Those are the kind of guys. Gio Bernard is a great kind of zero running back pick, because he's going to get work in the PPR game. J.D. McKissick, these guys that are going to put up points and actually present a decently safe floor, where your wide receiver room presents such an advantage in a PPR or half PPR league, and your wide receivers are going to be dominant, and your running backs are going to be feasible.
The other thing that can be said for this strategy too is that the probability for injury is at its all-time high at the running back position, just due to the nature of the physicality. Whereas wide receiver, you see less injuries compared to running back. So if you want sort of more of a safer strategy, I mean, going 0 running back is great. I just wouldn't advise doing so from like the 101. I'm not taking Devontae Adams 101. Still going to take Christian McCaffrey. And that's kind of what you said, that hybrid of like, it's called hero RB, where you take one running back and then you just... So you kind of have to understand...
what Taylor is doing there. With Derrick Henry going Mahomes, Kittle, Pitts, Jamar, he went with Ronald Jones now in the 5th, but it's a very viable strategy, and you need those kind of PPR guys, the Joe Bernards, McKissicks. I mean, if you get Pollard, Pollard's going to be valuable by himself, and even better if something happens to Zeke. So he's a great pick for a player that needs help at the running back position. Schwartz is in the sleeper chat as well, talking about scraps left for second-year wide receivers. And last year's wide receiving class was phenomenal. It is the outlier of how good that wide receiving class is. Just in this round alone, T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy are very, and I mean, you took Chase Claypool right before. Brandon Ayuk just went. Deontay Johnson is a third-year guy, but these guys are really primed to break out and take that tier jump into the high end where Allen Robinson and Terry McLaurin are. I really, really like this last year's group of wide receivers. And if you could try to acquire some right now, this is the time before they really break out. I'm big on CeeDee Lamb, but he's going quite early right now. But I'll take the 2 to 3 round discount on a Jerry Jeudy right now, because I think he's ready to break out in a big way.
You do like Jerry Jeudy, and I will still. It's going to be nice to see Courtland Sutton on the field in Week 3. They have said that he's going to play at least some sort of rep. So I'd like to see Courtland Sutton. We haven't seen him in a year, but I'm still a firm believer that Courtland Sutton is the alpha for this team. Even though Jerry Jeudy has looked really good in camp and in preseason, I'm still going to be adamant that he is the alpha. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
Yeah. I think he has a really good chance. I want to hear if you have any concern at all with the Cincinnati offense as a whole. Jamar Chase is getting some
hate?
Really poor, some hate, some poor camp reports. T. Higgins is doing okay. Tyler Boyd's doing okay, but we haven't seen and won't see any action from Joe
Right.
Burrow. Are you concerned at all that the offense is just going to be bad again? And because there's going to be wide receivers that are going to command a fairly equal share of that offense, that you all of the Cincinnati passing attack.
Mm-hmm. No. And the reason I say that, and I'm just about to pick here, the reason I say that is because we haven't seen Joe Burrow throw the football. It's been Kyle Allen. And Kyle Allen, if you go back and watch some of the Jamar Chase drops, if you want to call them that, there was probably one of the three from from this week's game that he probably should have had, and the other two were just like, he was thrown into double coverage and the ball was like way outside his body. I'll give Jamar Chase a pass, and all this other crap about him and a domestic issue, crazy. The accuser deleted the post off of their social media, and it kind of looked like something that it wasn't. So I think Jamar's getting hated on just a little bit, and not deserved. But
yeah,
I'm kind of sitting here.
Yeah, I'm
kind of sitting here. Chelly took Michael Carter, and I know that he doesn't believe in Michael Carter, but he knows that I do because we have a bet. And so that was really disappointing to see him pivot off of who he actually is just to spite me in a mock draft. So I'm going to draft Leonard Fournette, and I'm not going to like it. And then I'm going to just double down. I'm going to continue this wide receiver onslaught. Let's hit tight end here. No, don't love it. I'm going to continue. I'm just going to go with Laviska Shenault.
Oh, yeah, I like that pick. Another second-year guy that has been targeted and schemed a lot in that Jaguars offense. And, yeah, for us, it's really difficult to comment on these potential accusers. I mean, Deshaun Watson is dealing with this as well. We're not sure what's going to happen. Maybe something, maybe nothing will come of this Jamar Chase issue, but right now it hasn't been verified by anyone. It's just been social media things back and forth, deleted. So it's impossible for us to comment, but hopefully everything is fine with him and nothing ever happened. Obviously, we hope the best for him and his partner and his kids, and that's all we can really say about that. But yeah, I think there will be some rust in Cincinnati. There very well could be some rust in Dallas because both quarterbacks got hurt last year and haven't really played any football for a long time, and aren't going to get an actual game rep until the regular season. Football is going to be fast. It's going to be coming at them. So if you don't actually happen to draft Dallas Cowboys or Cincinnati Bengals in your real drafts, I think they might be really good candidates to buy on the low after week 2 or 3, where maybe these guys don't perform right away because of the slow-moving offense, the rust at the quarterback position, and O-line position. There could be lots of variables. You never know. But I think you're going to hear us talk about Bengals and Cowboys in particular early and often because we know the potential of these offenses. These quarterbacks could throw for over 5,000 yards each. And it's one of those things that it's gonna happen. It might be a little bit delayed potentially.
Have you been watching Hard Knocks at all?
I watched the second episode last night,
good.
dude.
Thoughts so far?
Yeah. So I like it. I'm on DAZN right now, so it's not fully populated right now. I'm not watching it live on HBO.
No, I think it's a 3-day delay. For us that watch it on DAZN.
I'm just checking my rankings here. I've got Aaron Rodgers as my next ranked quarterback, so I'm going to go with Raji here in the 8th round. I feel like I have some really good positional advantages. I have good depth at not positional advantages, but really strong running backs and wide receivers right now, where I have to not go late round quarterback. And I just checked my rankings. You can get that on the Discord community. I am making notes every time I modify my rankings and saying exactly why I moved Gaskin up, why I moved Josh Jacobs up, why I moved Myles Gaskin and Darrell Henderson around. I'm kind of making notes along so you can get an idea of what the moves I'm making are and changes are and why I'm making them.
Cat's Pajamas asks, what's Mac Jones' ceiling if he starts all 17 games?
Hmm. Kirk Cousins.
Honestly, that's exactly what came to mind. If Mac Jones starts all 17 games, I think he could probably be, a middling QB2. He's not going to be a guy that you plug and play every single week, but he's probably going to finish somewhere in around like QB 18 to 20 is kind of where I think I would have him.
Yeah, and that's going to be on average. When he has a good matchup, he could throw 3 touchdowns and sneak into that quarterback 10 zone, but he's not going to have any rushing capabilities to get into the top 5.
No.
That's just not in his range of
and
outcomes.
That's just not New England football either. There's going to be a heavy emphasis on the run game from a multitude of backs. It's going to be a carousel of running backs like it usually is. There's going to be a featuring of the 2 tight ends that they paid, $75 million for over the next 3 years. They have a younger wide receiving core, Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, N'Keal Harry. I think Mac Jones will be efficient at the end of the day, and I just don't know that he will throw for the volume that's needed to be a top 12 quarterback. And to your point, the mobility, he doesn't really have that, nor will he need that in this offense. And so I just think he's capped with his own abilities as well as the limitations of the offense. So I think like QB 18 to QB 20 is probably his ceiling.
Yeah. Check your league settings because typically quarterbacks get 4 points per passing touchdown, but 6 points per rushing touchdown. So you'd much rather have Kyler Murray rush one in than pass one in. So that's why I'm saying that gives you a little bit of explanation why Kyler Murray and even a guy like Jalen Hurts, who we don't love as a quarterback, but I think I'm projecting that he's going to rush quite a bit and rush for touchdowns. Because of his rushing ability and the scoring settings of traditional football leagues, fantasy leagues. But I very much like the upside of a Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, if Mac Jones starts.
Yeah.
I really like Henry as a late round tight end. My eyes always gravitate towards him when I'm in the late rounds. He's almost going undrafted. So if you grab a Logan Thomas late and then also grab a Hunter Henry, I just really like that structure and how to build a team if you're going late round tight end.
No, for sure. It's a good point actually. So let's see. You're coming up here pretty soon for your next pick. You picked up Aaron Rodgers in the 8th, which was what value? I mean, when you look at you got Damian Harris in the 7th, which is like whatever, and then you get Aaron Rodgers in the 8th. Aaron Rodgers, people are questioning his motivation this year. If he comes back to Green Bay and actually has the chip on his shoulder that he usually plays with, if he's going to have an MVP-like version of himself left before he ultimately chooses his fate in 2022, what do you think for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers? Do you think they make a pretty serious run towards a Super Bowl, or do you think this is Aaron just the big old FU to the franchise and mails it in for a season?
I cannot see him mailing it in for a season. I do believe he moves on from Green Bay next year. We've talked about that on the podcast. I do think he's gonna ball out, and Davante Adams is my number 1 wide receiver, and as he should be. He could score 20 touchdowns this year. It's one of those things where the target share is so heavy in Davante Adams' favor. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have an absolutely phenomenal season, and getting him where I did in the 8th round. I mean, it's great value to still have that positional advantage at the quarterback position. He could finish up there with Patrick Mahomes if things go well. He's going to have to be very, very efficient at throwing touchdowns, but we know he can actually do that. Where a guy like Herbert, who has been going before Aaron Rodgers consistently all year round, I think could have a sophomore slump a little bit, where he's not going to be as efficient. I still really love Austin Eckler. I love Keenan Allen, but they have a very tough schedule, and people and defensive coordinators started to kind of catch on to Herbert, and he didn't have those boom games to finish the season. I still love him in Dynasty. I'm still trying to acquire him in Superflex formats. Herbert, I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
of course.
but I think Aaron Rodgers just provides such a safer floor with similar ceiling. So him and Russell Wilson are both two veteran quarterbacks that if you are still looking for an early round quarterback, I kind of prefer those two guys over Herbert. Even though Herbert, just the name sounds like he has such a high ceiling that he could get up to that Kyler Murray tier. I just don't quite have him projected that this
Yeah.
year. Although I love the talent.
Yeah, he's a tier 2 quarterback for me. I think I have him at 6. Which I think is probably where his ceiling is. I need to go back in on running back in the 9th round to get my RB2. Yes, I said that. RB2. To me, Phillip Lindsay has looked the best out of the Houston Texans. I'm not sure what it's worth in this offense. The other consideration for me here is James Conner. I don't necessarily believe that Chase Edmonds is the guy. I'm actually, you know what? I'm just going to pivot. I was going to go Phillip Lindsay, but I'm going to go James Conner. And the reason I'm going to go James Conner is because I'm not 100% convinced that Chase Edmonds is going to be like a 3-down back. And I think situationally, when it comes to being in the 10 zone or even within 5 yards of the goal line, they're going to look to James Conner to pound the rock. And so I'm gonna go with James Conner in the better offense over Phillip Lindsay and just a dumpster fire of the Houston Texans. So that sure's up my running back too. And then I'm going to jump over to the tight end spot, and it really comes down to either Robert Tonyan or Logan Thomas for me. And I'm going to go with Logan Thomas. Who ran a ton of routes last year.
Man, he looks
awesome. They did I see that they worked on a contract?
He has a contract.
Maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
He got one already.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Logan Thomas, sneaky good last year. Ran, I think, like the third most routes for a tight end, and potentially could run the most routes for a tight end in 2021. So I like the potential for Logan Thomas, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick in town. That's super nice.
Robo Chris went Phillip Lindsay. Shout out to Robo Chris Timmons. Big fan of you. I hope all the health to you and your family. I know it's been a tough time so far. He went Phillip Lindsay, and I would have went Phillip Lindsay as well if I was in your position. He could be I think he is the running back 1 in Houston, where I can't see that being for James Conner. I think, but I mean, I understand why you went that, because Arizona is the better offense, and if James Conner, by far, he will have a higher ceiling, where Phillip Lindsay, I think, presents a little bit of a safer floor. But yeah, I mean, either way, you're in a tough spot either way in the 9th round drafting your running back too. And I went Robert Tonyan as well, and I got that nice little stack with Aaron Rodgers. I was hoping Logan Thomas was going to get back to me, but clearly you snagged him ahead of time. I really like Robert Tonyan in this offense. He showed that he is a good go-to guy. He's kind of the second target right now in Green Bay, and we know when Aaron Rodgers finds and likes a guy, he keeps going back to him. So
I'm glad I finally drilled.
Robert Tonyan could be a very valuable fantasy.
I'm glad I finally drilled Robert Tonyan's value into you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know why he's going so late. I think he was like tight end 4 last year. Is that right?
4, 3? I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think Robert Tonyan. I mean, him and Higbee are very also good. I get it why he's going late, but Tonyan could get up there with and be better than a Mark Andrews type just because of the volume. And if Tonyan is indeed the second target in Green Bay, his ceiling is ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely, yes, 100%.
So, we have a few rounds left, Mac. Does anyone in the chat have any questions about draft strategy? Everyone can ask us this stuff on Discord. We have private and channels for everything. auction drafts are a very hot topic these days. I just listen to the stuff from stuff to run with auction
Mm-hmm.
drafts. If you have specific questions about that, the Discord channel is the place to go. Mack has some values and some budgeting tools that will really help you with your drafts. So if you need that kind of stuff, Discord is the way to go.
So Griff was doing some DD for me, due diligence. He said that 110 targets for Logan Thomas, only Waller and Kelsey were above him with 140 plus, third most route runs for all tight ends. So just kind of ensuring what I brought to you was correct. He also said he's getting a ton of interest in his Marquez Callaway shares, as was I. What a crazy performance from him last night. I think it was like 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. The dude was balling.
Those 2 receptions were phenomenal.
Nasty.
Big fan of that. Some of the 2 most difficult catches you'll see all year, and it just happened to come from Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is the leader in the clubhouse as far as starting for the New Orleans Saints.
That's not even a competition, man. That is Jameis Winston has locked that job down.
Yeah. So, Griff, if you could sell Marquez Callaway right now, I would be tendering offers for him. Yeah. He looked great, but it was preseason. It's something you should definitely look at, see what the kind of value you can get off of him. This is the kind of stuff that you just build dynasties. And these rosters that are just unstoppable because you trade the value while you have it. And look what Travis Etienne did. If you weren't tendering offers for Etienne yesterday before his injury, you've lost. And I know you can never predict injuries, but this is why that if someone's willing to overpay for a player because of the hype around him, that's what you should do. You should look at offers. DJ Chark early in the offseason was getting a ton of hype. And I've been saying for months and pounding the table that you should be looking to sell and see what kind of offers you can get for DJ Chark, because now his value is low. It's plummeting because he's not getting reps with Trevor Lawrence. The Jags offense looks bad. But back when Trevor Lawrence was the second coming of Christ himself, DJ Chark was that top 12 locked and loaded wide receiver. And if you could have got value for him when the hype was high and really hyped for no reason because they hadn't played a snap together, that's kind of the stuff you should do. So if you have these players that people are offering, no question. I mean, Javonte Williams is another one of those guys that people just love. If you can sell him for the world, I think you should consider it.
So I went J.D. McKissic. I like
good pick.
I like him in a half PPR or full PPR league. Just dominates Antonio Gibson on third downs. I think it was like 187 third down snaps versus I think it was like 21 for Antonio Gibson. So he is the pass catching back. I'm now looking to a wide receiver again. And Rashad Bateman and Rondale Moore are the 2 that I like here. If given full health, I would still go Rashad Bateman, but the possibility of him losing 3 to 4 weeks is not appetizing. So I'm going to go with Rondale Moore, who has been touches have been manufactured for him all throughout the preseason. I really do think that he will be like a gadget type player, an explosive player for this offense. So I'm going to go with Rondale Moore.
You don't need to convince
I know
me,
I don't.
Mac.
I know
that.
I
don't. If you guys haven't listened to the podcast yet, I just am enamored with the talent of Rondale Moore. And every time he gets the ball, he just looks powerful. And he's so strong. Mac was telling me that I need to watch this guy's workout vids because he is an athlete.
Yes, he is.
He's one of the strongest pound for pound players in the league. He's like the DK Metcalf of us, but he's 5'6" or 5'8".
So there's a really good question from Chris, and he said, do you guys recommend drafting the backup for your running back? And I would say that typically no. I wouldn't. I would recommend drafting somebody else's backup. Because if that running back goes down, then you have trade opportunity. You have a startable player on your roster. You didn't have to suffer a loss to have a gain. And so I would look to get other people's, we use the word handcuff. I think that's sort of a term that's being phased out. But we draft other people's backups, not our own. The other thing to think about is, let's just say you wanted to get Aaron Jones, but you wanted to insure him with A.J. Dillon. Well, A.J. Dillon is a 9th-round pick right now, and Aaron Jones is a first. So you're spending 2 rounds of capital to secure one position. And some in previous years, some handcuffs have been even higher than sort of the 9th round. So I just think that you are limiting your upside when you go and draft a backup, an insurance policy. I would rather go grab like an Alexander Madison, and if God forbid anything happens to Dalvin Cook, you now have a piece you can trade, you now have a piece you can start. So I would look to get other people's backups.
Really good question. And Madison and Pollard are kind of the exceptions where they're going early, and we know that they're the direct handcuff, where a lot of these times we're projecting a handcuff. How many times does it happen where you think you have the handcuff, but you actually don't? Like San Francisco, for example.
Oh, San Francisco is the toughest one in the world.
And New England's a tough one. Tampa Bay's a tough one. There's a ton. I mean, Buffalo, we're not sure who is the starter, Singletary or Zach Moss, or if Matt Breida's going to get in. Man, it's tough to project. So for you to waste a roster spot on just your handcuff is not a great move. And if you're willing to draft a Jonathan Taylor in the first round, you're taking your shot that he's going to be healthy, he's going to be that league winner. There's no point for you to just ensure that he's not. If he gets hurt, I mean, that sucks.
It is what it is.
That's all you can say. Like, it is what it is, and you're going to have to get the waiver wire, and maybe you get a Marlon. Maybe you have priority and spend the most fab. Great, but those handcuffs are going to be a weight on this block on your bench that you are not willing to drop. You're going to miss out great waiver wire opportunities like the rookie wide receivers coming up. There's always going to be guys available on the waiver wire that boom and have a great game and great season. James Robinson is a prime example. We didn't know who the starter was in Jacksonville. So you just take your shot, absolutely. And yeah, take the Tony Pollards, especially if you don't have Zeke Elliott. You're taking your shot in the first, second rounds that your guys aren't going to get hurt. And there's no point in handcuffing, honestly, guys. I don't like it. I used to do it all the time, but I have since learned my lesson.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in a couple dynasty leagues, I mean, I think dynasty is the exception where you typically want to, because your bench is so large. Let's say you have a starting roster of 9 players. Typically, your bench is going to be 16. You're going to have anywhere from like 22 to 25 players. In that case, yeah, go ahead. Seek out your backup. Ensure if Cam Akers goes down in the middle of July, we'll have Darrell Henderson waiting. And if you have to go out and roster Xavier Jones or Jake Funk, whoever you think is going to be the backup to the backup, assistant to the regional manager, go ahead and get him. But you should have those insurance policies due to the nature of your bench. When you're in redraft and your bench is only 5 to 6 spaces deep, you don't really have the luxury of holding players that will be insurance policies. So that's just
and draft handcuffs that are young in dynasty, because that's the part of it too. When your running back gets old,
I didn't see you took Justin Fields. You. Does Deshaun Watson play this year? Asking for a friend.
Does Deshaun Watson play? I think he's a great last round pick. I mean, he's I don't think he.
I don't
plays.
think so either. I hate to say it, but I don't.
Yeah.
Is Logan Thomas going to be a plug and play option for me? Probably.
I would take 2. I would take like an Evan Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in the receiving options are just hilarious.
I mean, your quarterback is better than your starting tight end.
Well, of course.
So that's where I
Yeah,
like.
yeah,
That's
I know what you're saying. I
even
know
if
what you're
you
saying.
yeah, even if you take a Baker Mayfield, you'll never start him.
It's true. If I'll start on 1 week.
Yeah, on the
Let's
bye.
go. Let's go. Jared Cook, man.
Sure. Yeah, I like
Silently
that.
became a Charger. No one's talking about it, and that's just going to be wonderful. And then I'll go Xavier Jones, just
Yeah.
on like the outside chance that something happens to Darrell Henderson in that thumb and he's not able to go. Like, who's going to be the next guy up? Probably Xavier Jones. So why the
Yeah,
heck not?
that getting those running backs feels like what we had last year in Jacksonville, where you don't really know for
No.
sure who's the starter. You think you know, but you don't. I'm not sure if anyone really
Knows.
knows for
Yeah.
sure. I would love for it to be Darrell Henderson and for people to start him week in and week out, but it very well could be up in the air.
So as we navigate our way through these last rounds, thank you to everybody who's stopped by, who's participated. We're going to just break down really quick our teams as well as pick a team each that we like, the way that they put it together, not our own. So not going to go through everybody's team, but just the ones that stand out and the way that they went through the draft and what we liked.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I've got Amari Rogers queued up here for my last
Love it.
pick. And really the biggest reason why I'm taking him is going to be because of Aaron Rodgers, and maybe it happens that he is the actual second wide
Sure.
receiver in Green Bay. I'll go through my team because I've selected everyone. I have Zeke Elliott, Calvin Ridley, Joe Mixon, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Ayuk, Cortland Sutton, Damian Harris, Aaron Rodgers, Michael Gallup, Robert Tunyon, Jamal Williams, who, I mean, it looks like DeAndre Swift might be out to start the season, or is questionable to start the season, so I grabbed him late. I also have my second tight end as Hunter Henry. Justin Fields is my second quarterback, and Amari Rogers. I like how the team shaped out. It's very balanced. I have some decent running backs with a combination of some pretty good wide receivers. This is a well balanced team. I would not be tilted after the draft if I went home with this one.
I don't blame you. That
And you went the opposite way. You went the opposite
I
way.
went full off brand. Went zero RB. Ended up
Yeah.
getting Fournette, Connor, McKissick, and Xavier Jones. Which look, that's nothing to put on the fridge, nothing to write home about. But it's going to be serviceable. And really the strength of my team is going to be based on starting three wide receivers in my positional spots and then in my flex spots having two other receivers. So Hill, Diggs, Evans, Claypool, Higgins, Chenault are going to be a great six to choose five from every single week. And then Josh Allen was the positional advantage that I looked for to sort of double down on my strategy. So if I can make it work at running back and just if I can just secure 10 points between those two positions, I'm probably going to be okay. That's really all I'm looking for is like, can someone fall into the end zone? Can somebody give me 40 yards rushing? Like, that's really all I need for this team to be all right. So, it's certainly not a strategy that you can go to bed with each night and feel good about yourself, but it's a way to exploit the turn pick, the 12th pick in a 12-team draft. So outside of our two teams, which I definitely wouldn't say that my team was the best, I would say yours is looking pretty solid to what I would typically like to put together. But who stands out to you, Landon? What team did you like and why?
There's a few teams that catch my eye, and some of the regulars are part of that.
Sure.
I'm talking Cat's Pajamas, Schwartz. But I'm going to go with a new name I haven't actually seen before in our mock drafts, and that's Jaw Beard 30.
Oh.
He started off triple running back, Kamara, Gibson, and Montgomery, and then quadruple tapped wide receiver with Robert Woods, Adam Thielen, Juju, and Jarvis Landry. I liked the three there. A lot of really safe guys with not a ton of upside, but these veterans are going to do what you need to do week in and week out, so it's going to be a very safe floor. He went Justin Herbert with his quarterback after I took Aaron Rodgers. He's got Gus Edwards, who I also quite like, Jonnu Smith, Jacoby Myers, Chuba Hubbard, Jameson Crowder, and James White. I don't mind that team at all. I think it's a very solid team, and it's a solid third place team. when it comes down to it.
Oh,
But
I see what you did there.
with the upside with Kamara, I mean, anything can always happen. Get into the playoffs, and who knows, he could score 6 touchdowns.
As I go ahead to give my team of choice, I want you guys to put into the comments who's still here, what team would you rather game, mine or Landon's? Just write in the chat, Mack or Landon, and just curious to see. I assume it's going to be Landon, but we'll see how many 0 RB truthers there are out there. Looking at these teams, I'm sort of between two people, and I think... Oh, it's tough. I really do want to say Schwartz, but I am a little bit concerned right now with the health of Dak Prescott and that shoulder. We know the ankle injury that he sustained last year that took him out for the remainder of the year. He was on a historic pace, blah, blah, blah. But getting Dak in the 7th is fantastic value, but will it actually be one that pays off? And then behind him, you got Trey Lance, and there's issues and concerns there as well. So, with the quarterback position kind of up in the air with this team, I'm pivoting to who I actually think had the best team, and that's going to be Dynasty Nate Bowers. Christian McCaffrey had to go wrong. Darren Waller and Justin Jefferson. I mean, you have an advantage at the tight end position. You have Justin Jefferson, who looks to have a great sophomore year coming up. DJ Moore, Javonte Williams, Chark. Got a value on Michael Thomas. Antonio Brown, Mike Williams, and I liked the Ryan Tannehill pick at the back of the 10th round. I mean, Ryan Tannehill has been the second best quarterback other than Patrick Mahomes since he came into the league. Ryan Tannehill has been fantastic since joining the Titans and probably looks to continue to deliver. He has a stable wide receiver core, just like I kind of took with my approach, and so I'm kind of just siding with him a little bit. There were definitely some solid teams in here, no doubt. I also like the Cats' pajamas, Burrow and Wilson, but just some running backs that I'm not the biggest fan of. Gaskin, Sermon, Moss. Even though I do understand their upside, they're not my cup of tea. So I'm going to go with Dynasty Nate.
Love it, Mac. Well, thanks to everyone for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching after the fact and not part of the community right now, join the Discord. We're having a ton of fun. Looks like I'm winning the poll so far, Mac, and we all knew this was going to happen. RIP to your roster. But I know of all the guys in your silver time, you would make trades to all of a sudden get like a mix of Dobbins, Najee Harris, and Miles Sanders in a matter of minutes.
Me? Trades? No. If you guys are looking to get into the Listener League, we have 3 spots left. We're going to announce those spots on this coming Saturday. So again, if you would like to be a part of that, join our Discord. It's completely free. We do have a private server for those YouTube members that will be all eyes on during the season. But as of right now, it's free for you to join the Discord. Go ahead and find that link in the description, and you'll see a Listener League tab, which you can submit an application to. Just a quick hey guys, this is why I love fantasy. We don't care how many trophies you've won or what your resume looks like. We just want to know, what do you bring to the table that makes you unique, that makes you fun, that would be a good member for the Listener League. You can do a video, you can do a song. We've had people do some funny, crazy things this off season, which has been awesome. So 3 spots left. We're giving them away on Saturday, and jump into the Discord. I finally have Griffin. Griffin has sided with me. We are the minority, but we know what that actually means. So you know what it is, Griff.
Shout out to the YouTube members, Taylor, Chris, Dev, Nate, Griff, and Eric. You guys are the real ones. I can't wait to join, or for more people to join. We very much appreciate the 6 of you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Throwing you guys back up again. A special thanks to our YouTube members. Really appreciate you guys being with us for the season. Looking forward to it. As more people join, I think the better it will be. But as I'll say again, quality over quantity every single day of the week. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully the stream was solid. For any of the Discord members, feel free to give us some feedback in the Discord chat, and we'll be happy to implement any changes. But we'll be looking to do this probably next week to get things really just dialed in for the season. Happy to be back with you, Landon, doing some mock drafting, and I think we'll give you the win on this one over me, but Next time I won't be so generous with my strategy.
Sounds good, my dude. Everyone have a very safe time and good luck in your fantasy drafts. Make sure to let us know what kind of questions and strategy stuff you got going on this season.
See you, boys.